Well, and we've heard DHS Secretary Jay Johnson in talking about the situation at the border, which by anyone's standards is tragic. Yeah. He said, though, it's a good chance for us to move immigration reform forward. We should look at this and use it as a springboard to get something done. But Charles, to Juan's point, I mean, I'm hearing from people on both sides of the aisle who will, whether only privately and not so publicly, acknowledge they think the president's decisions and his executive actions on immigration have sent a message, whether it's been received improperly or properly, to people who are coming here thinking they're getting something that they're allegedly not going to get, although some of these folks argue what happens in practice is very different than what happens on paper.
I think that's completely undeniable. The president unilaterally decided to override the meaning and the letter of the immigration laws and essentially to grant asylum and amnesty to young illegal immigrants. The message is received in Central America. It's not exactly received correctly, but obviously it's been received. That's why we have this amazing wave crashing against our shores, that if you're young and you come to America, you're going to stay. In fact, it's true. 90% of these kids are never going home. Everybody understands that. The word that's used now, they are being processed. That means they're being sent to relatives all over the interior of America, and they are never going home. So actually, it's a correct message. But what the president is talking today about, I want to keep attracting the best and the brightest from beyond our shores, he's completely disconnected from reality. He's talking about his legislation. It is totally unrelated to this inundation from the South. If you're worried about the best and the brightest, we know what that is. It's extending the visas, allowing work permits or residence for smart engineers, entrepreneurs from around the world in our universities, PhDs, and doubling, tripling, making it easier for them to stay. If you proposed that rather than so-called comprehensive, which involves all kinds of other stuff, which is controversial, if he proposed only the best and the brightest, the kind of thing that Canada and Australia already have, it would be approved quickly. But he's not doing that. He's making that hostage to the amnesty program he wants for all the illegal immigrants in the country. And it is totally irrelevant when it comes to stemming the tide of those coming from Central America.
But Charles, you know, the reality is that we have... If he passed the law
today he wants to pass, it would have zero effect.
That's not true. It would have tremendous impact because we have 10 to 12 million illegal immigrants in the country. And part of that problem is people who overstay visas, people who fly in here, people who have all sorts. We need to fix that problem. I think everybody should agree on that. With regard to the best... Hang on. With regard to the best and brightest...
wave of illegal immigrants from Central America?
There's a wave of children. Right now, there's net minus migration of people trying to sneak across. We're talking about a refugee crisis, a human crisis. And what I was going to say about the best and the brightest is big companies, corporations, Chamber of Commerce are all saying we're not getting the ability to keep those best and brightest, and it has to be part of comprehensive reform.
One, comprehensive reform is a way of saying amnesty and legalization. Let me assume
that's talk radio rhetoric.
Of course it means that. It doesn't mean anything else. No. But let me assume that that's a good idea. It's a humanitarian idea. It's a lovely idea. But even those who say that have to admit the fact, undeniable fact, that if you grant amnesty, as we granted amnesty in '86, of course it's a magnet to other people in Central America, the rest of the world, to come illegally, because it tells them if you stay here, succeed in staying, you will get amnesty.
We are changing the laws. We have more security. In fact, the literal security, the walls, the amount of money we're investing in that kind of security you're talking about is unprecedented, Charles.
Well, it doesn't appear to be working, at least right now in South Texas. So we're going to have to leave it there. You'd love to see what's going to happen during the commercial, but stick around. The Friday Lightning Round is next.